If you've ever struggled with mum guilt, this is the one thing that you need to get through to beat that and be able to invest in yourself. So, I'm Greg, CEO of Greg Ferrin Coaching. I help women get the empowered body have an empowered life. And one of the things that comes up a whole lot is mum guilt. So if you've ever had mum guilt, just comment me below. I'd love to know your thoughts on this video. So I'm going to go into the reasons why it happens, the real reason, because mum guilt is not the reason, and how you can beat it. All right. So being a dad, hey, I'm a parent myself, and I've been there when it comes to investing in things that are either seems like a big investment or it's something that my parents would never have invested in. Okay. And when it comes to mum guilt or dad guilt or whatever, is this. It's not a guilt thing, right? Because what you're saying is, and this is the stuff that goes through your mind, is like, right, there's a program that's really going to help me become the best version of myself, but I'm not going to do it because I've got mum guilt, right? And that comes up a whole lot. So here's what is actually going on. All right. Since about the age of 6, 7, 5, 6, you have had something imprinted in your brain which says there are certain things that are important, certain things that aren't important. Right. So if this rings home and rings true for you, this will be a very pertinent thing. You would have seen your parents never invest in their health. I'll say again. You'd have never seen your parents invest in their health unless they were sick and already in trouble, right? Because in the generation before us, health was an exercise and all that kind of stuff was always deemed as leisure. Okay, leisure. No, we don't do that. We're lazy. That's for lazy people. Fitness. No, no, we don't do that. I just go and work, potentially a manual job that keeps me fit, right? So your parents did what they could with what they knew and the tools they had at the time. Okay. But here's what happens. You go to your mum now and say, "Oh, mum, do you know what? I'm really thinking about investing in this program, and it's a fair amount of money. It's a couple of grand that I'm going to invest in my health and my fitness to become the best person that I want to be." And then this mum guilt comes up but what actually is happening is it's not the kids you're worried about because your kids don't really have any concept of how much you spent on something unless you tell them, right? Unless you go, "Hey, little Johnny, look, I'm about to spend this." They've got no concept of that. Okay. What it actually is that you as a person is thinking, well, my mum and my parents, subconsciously, by the way, my mum and my parents would never have invested this much money on something like health. Okay. They would have invested in a degree for you or a piece of kit for the house, like a Hoover or a washing machine or something like that, but never anything that was health and fitness related. And then you say to yourself, "Oh, well, it's okay, what I'll do is I'll go down to the local gym and I'll just work it out from there." Okay. But subconsciously, what you're then doing is showing the people in your life that investing in themselves is not important. That's the truth of it. Like I remember my first coach was like 8K, and I gulped when I was about to press that button on my sent me the link and I was about to press that button and I gulped. It was like 8K or something crazy like that. When the dad guilt thing came up, it wasn't dad guilt. It wasn't that at all. Because if I'd gone to my son and said, "Hey Jay, I'm gonna spend this much money on myself because it's gonna make me a better dad for you," he'd be like, "Yeah, dad, I want you to be able to wrestle me and run around with me and all that stuff, right? I want you to be the best version of yourself. I'm proud of you, dad." What was actually going through my mind was, "Oh my God, if only my mum could see me now investing a couple of grand on my health, especially when there's all this free information." And that's the rub. So what happens is you start getting into that DIY mindset. Now I work with women who are business owners, entrepreneurs who are already making about six figures. And what they've had to get out of is that DIY mentality, that mindset that says, oh, there's plenty of information. I can just get a Zoe and put it on my arm and I'll be able to implement. But information isn't implementation. And so for me, as a business owner, as a coach, as a parent, I need to not DIY so much. But that's what's going on for you right now. That minute before you go, oh yeah, do you know what? I've got mum guilt. I've got to take care of the family. What you're doing is actually not showing them the path to their own greatness. Because if they look at you and say, do you know what? My mum spent that much on a business course. She spent that much on her health. That's important stuff. You're role modeling a behavior for them to follow. Let me know if this makes sense, by the way. If you're just comment below, let me know this makes sense. So one of the things you have to really get clear on as a parent is, if I make this investment, am I going to be able to do something that my child is going to be proud of me for? And you need to start thinking about how you're going to delete those old memories that said, no, I can't invest in myself because it's too expensive and all that stuff. Because money wasn't the issue. You just don't believe that you're important enough to invest in. And that's what it comes back to. It comes back to those age-old stories that, your parents would never invested that much in themselves, but you're not trying to do that. You're trying to be great. You're going to be the woman that gets on stage, that shows up, that people are going, do you know what? That woman's got it all together. But you won't be able to do that if you don't have the health that you really, really crave for. So if you're struggling with the mum guilt, just know it's not mum guilt. It's something else entirely. It's something else that is holding you back, which is the stories you've got in your head about what's important and how much you can invest in yourself. It's nothing else. Let me know if this resonates with you. Share this or tag someone in who might want to hear this message, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.